Have you ever struggled to get your point across? Maybe you were in a meeting and you knew exactly what you wanted to say. The words just didn't come out right. Or you're on a sales call and you can feel yourself losing the room. Maybe it's speaking on camera. You freeze up and you overthink every word before it leaves your mouth. I struggled with the same exact thing. I get in my head, I overthink, and it holds me back more than I'd like to admit. So I went looking for a solution. And that's when I found RiseGuide. Now, full transparency, RiseGuide is sponsoring this video, but here's the thing. I've wanted to improve my communication skills for years. So when they reached out, this felt exactly like the push I needed. And what I found when I actually got in there genuinely surprised me. So let me show you what it is and what it did for me. RiseGuide is a self-improvement app focused on learning communication and self-improvement skills, built around one core idea. The fastest way to grow is to learn from people who have already figured it out. They take the insights, frameworks, and principles from over 300 of the world's top experts and distill them into bite-sized lessons. So every minute you spend learning actually moves you forward. And the numbers back that up. In just 2 years, since they launched, RiseGuide has over 1 million downloads, 400,000 active monthly users, and over 800,000 hours spent learning on the platform. That's most definitely not a small hobby app. People are genuinely using this every day and getting results that speak for themselves. No pun intended. And so when you first open RiseGuide, you choose a learning journey. One of them being the communication mastery, which covers confident public speaking, body language, voice control, storytelling, first impressions, and social intelligence. Whereas the intelligence training is focused on memory, retention, learning speed, decision making, and critical thinking. So depending on where you are and what you're building, there's a path for you. I personally tested the Charisma plan, which sits under communication mastery. And that's what I'm going to walk you through today, because that's where I spent my time and where I saw results for myself. And so when I logged into the Charisma plan, the first thing RiseGuide does is walk you through a lesson. And it doesn't just throw information at you. It breaks everything down into clear, numbered steps that build on each other. The module I started with was all about first impressions, pulling from frameworks by Vanessa Van Edwards, and it went step by step. Walk me through why first impressions matter, the science behind them, and then something called the halo effect, which is the idea that when people notice one positive trait about you, they automatically assume other positive traits follow. So if you walk into a room looking put together and confident, people subconsciously assume you're also competent and trustworthy. That's powerful. And most of us have never been taught to use it intentionally. But before they even get into the teaching, RiseGuide gives you a reflection prompt. They ask you, where are you right now when it comes to your communication skills? What do you actually struggle with? And I'll be honest, that hit different for me, because most of us have never stopped to subconsciously assess where we are. And so it saves your answer so that you can come back to it later, which means you can track your own growth over time. That kind of self-awareness right at the start sets the tone for everything else that follows. And so after that, the app will then introduce a new concept and back it up with a short video that goes deeper into the research. I'm talking real studies, real science, body language, presence, and how the way you carry yourself signals confidence before you even open your mouth. There's a reference to Cuddy's work on how powerful people speak more slowly, take more time, and aren't afraid to pause. That one stuck with me because I tend to rush when I'm nervous. A lot of us do. And just being reminded of that with the science to back it up changes how we show up. And so after the video, they do hit you with a quiz, and this isn't a boring multiple choice test. It's scenario-based and interactive. It asks me which scenario uses the halo effect to my advantage, which means I have to actually think it through. Fortunately, I did get it right, but the point isn't just to get the answer correct. It's to take what you just learned and immediately apply it in a real context. And that's truly how knowledge becomes wisdom. And then there's the part that genuinely surprised me the most. The Charisma plan uses AI to create simulated conversation, real back and forth dialogue where you're practicing with a fictional character on how to engage with another person. You're not just reading about how to to keep a conversation going, you're actually doing it in a safe environment with no pressure and where you can make mistakes in real time. I went through one of these simulations myself, and at the end of it, I got asked for coffee, and I genuinely laughed out loud because I felt like I had actually connected with a real person, even though it was AI. And after this experience, I can say this by far is one of the best platforms I've seen that creates a real social scenario without you having to actually talk to a live person. And so for anyone who gets in their own head, and I know I'm not the only one, this will make a huge difference in your social interactions. I'd like to say it's like a flight simulator for your social skills. And so you get to build your social muscle in a controlled environment so that when the real moment comes, you're ready. And it's not just me that thinks this app is pretty cool. The reviews on the App Store, Google Play, and Trustpilot are at about a 4.6 out of 5 stars. One reviewer even said it was their first time doing this type of training online and called it amazing, very straight to the point, engaging, and include really helpful examples that reflect real life situations. And one that really stood out to me said that they thought the app was good because it helped break down complex topics into points that were easy to understand, helping them remember the information a lot longer than if they were to try to do it themselves. With most courses, I can get overwhelmed with everything that I need to learn, but with RiseGuide, they truly do make it interactive and based in research so that I'm confident in what I'm learning and I'm making real progress that I can track. And I can do this even if I have 10 to 15 minutes of free time in my day. And so if you're wondering who should actually download this app, I'll say if you're a business owner or working professional who needs to show up confidently on sales calls and pitches, on social media, or at networking events, this is for you. And so if you're building a personal brand and you know your message matters, but you're not always sure how to deliver it, you also need to be on this app, especially if you're someone who feels like you're smart and capable, but you struggle to come across that way in the room. This is absolutely for you. And so when you control your presence, you create a halo effect. People assume competence, trustworthiness, and likability before you've ever said a single word, which translates directly into more clients, more deals, and more opportunities. Communication is not a soft skill, but an essential business skill. But the app is not perfect. It's not a replacement for real-world practice. You still have to go out there and use what you learn, and it works best when you're consistent. You use it daily, even just for 10 to 15 minutes. Now let's talk about what the RiseGuide app costs. The price depends on a few factors: your location, applicable taxes, and any current promotions running at the time you sign up. But here's the general breakdown. RiseGuide offers 3 subscription links. There's a 4-week plan, a 12-week plan, and a 24-week plan. Many users get an introductory rate for their first billing period, which is a great way to try it out before committing a long term. The 4-week plan can start as low as $19.99 as an intro offer, renewing at up to $39.99 after that. RiseGuide is a recurring subscription service, not a one-time purchase, so make sure this fits your expectations before you sign up. When you think about what you're getting: daily lessons, expert-backed research, interactive quizzes, AI conversation simulations, and a full learning library, and you compare that to hiring a communication coach or buying a $200 course that just sits unwatched, the value is genuinely there. The link to check it out is in the description, and I'd recommend starting with the introductory offer so you can explore it and decide if it works for you. Truthfully, it's going to get you much further than watching YouTube for hours, as RiseGuide is an accessible tool in your pocket that helps you build a strong foundation, helps you practice in private, and most importantly, helps you actually take action and make progress based on expert knowledge, which as of now, I haven't found anything else that comes close. Look, I've tried a lot of apps and tools over the years. Most of them feel like homework. RiseGuide actually made me want to come back and train in those short windows of time I actually have throughout the day. The lessons are bite-sized, the AI conversations are genuinely engaging, and you can feel yourself getting better. That feeling matters because that's what keeps you showing up day in and day out. I've wanted to improve my communication skills for years. The fact that there's now an app that makes that process structured, research-backed, and engaging, I genuinely wish I had found it sooner. Go check it out and let me know in the comments what you think or how you're working on improving your communication. I'd like to know. And if this video was helpful to you, make sure you subscribe as I talk about tools, strategies, and resources to help you grow your business and your brand.